allows me to tell the story in like 4 pages. You guys follow me on that? So is this pretty simple or what? Right? So once I met Justin, the first thing that I did was I connect with him. You follow me? He works downstairs. He's a private banker. My wife and I were talking to him outside. He was telling me the difference between private banking and personal banking and what was it? Client manager and personal banking. So we connect, blah blah blah. We talk. My son's name is Justin. So we connected, find out what he likes to do and all of that stuff. Okay? So in that conversation, when I'm building rapport, the first 10 minutes that I meet with someone, here's the sense that I want them to get. Man, I like this guy. I trust this guy. I like this lady. I trust this lady. That's the first sense. I want to connect with them the first 10 minutes. Then I want to get to the point because I don't have all night. Does that make sense? So if you see, I went through the presentation. I went through each page. Here's what I'm thinking on each page. I want to be able to tell the story of each page within a couple of minutes. You follow me? So I spend 1-2 minutes on this page, a couple of minutes on this page, a couple of minutes on this page. Here I spend a little bit more time because now we're talking about the actual product. The actual product is the financial needs analysis. Like you've ever done an appointment, a person goes, well, tell me, what exactly do you do? You ever had that? Because you never answered that question. So that's why I said, let me explain to you exactly what we do. So I don't get that question. You follow me? So this is our product. The financial needs analysis is our product. Then I go over credibility, the needs of the marketplace, and the close becomes here. I'm very specific. There's 3 options here. Either client, part-time, full-time, right? Then I ask him a question. Which one of these intrigues you the most? Now, he says client, and he said a part-time. Notice I didn't go into a whole bunch of stuff. I went straight. He said client. I said, okay, great. Listen. Does that make sense? You must listen, right? Now, there's a lot of people like Sheldon Singleton is one. Sheldon Singleton is one of our brokers, right? Sheldon Singleton was an engineer. When I did this presentation with Sheldon Singleton, he says, you know what? I'm not interested in the opportunity, but I am interested in being a client. So I said, okay, let's sit down, right? Sat down with him. I did his personal strategy, right? And then once I'd done his personal strategy, he implemented that plan. And then he says, you know what, Dan? Everybody I know needs to see this. So he gave me referrals. I said, well, let me ask you a question. I says, I'm going to actually go out and meet with these families. But if you were affiliated with our company, you would generate a commission from that. And if they joined the business, they would be part of your team. Now it's up to you. Whether you want to do it, that's great. Whether you don't want to do it, that's fine. Because you're coming from a neutral position. You follow me? I'm not spending, he says, well, yeah, I want to do it. Right? And then he recruited himself into the business. You follow me? It's kind of like I was telling the team on Monday, my wife and I, we stayed at the Wynn Hotel when we were in Vegas, right? Sunday morning, we got up and we went to a buffet at the Wynn, right? We got there and their buffet was like so good. Remember, babe? I mean, it was, we sat there, we went like, we don't know where to start because everything looks so good, right? But the point is, you got to start somewhere. You follow me? So a lot of times when you put everything in front of someone, they go, here's how they answer it. Wow, I need to think about this. Here's what they're telling you. You overwhelmed me with information. You follow me? So that's like the new associate coming out of convention and you throw up on people. Oh my God, that's so excited. You're not in a cult. Does that make sense? Relax. Right? Because that's what people think. They're like, oh my God, what happened? You follow me? So you have to be able to sit down, right? And if someone tells you none of these intrigue them, here's what happened. They didn't understand you and they don't believe you. They didn't understand you or they don't believe you. Does that make sense? Every single person that you sit down with, one of those three options would think. Okay? So, questions. Yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Chris. Put this like in a PDF format and send it. I might have an extra one downstairs in my car. Oh, I don't have my car downstairs. Just to give you an idea too. Okay. Some of the stuff that I say, right? I said the financial needs analysis we do complimentary for free. One of our good friends, Christine and I, good friends, is a guy by the name of Chris Bolenbach, Chris and Kendra Bolenbach. We went to Paris with them. Okay, Chris is the senior vice president of the private banking sector of Merrill Lynch, right around the corner from me. Beautiful office, top deck, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? He has a team of 5 individuals on his team, and they manage over $350 million. Right? When I talk about active money management, that's what they do. Okay. So when I was in Paris, I said, Chris, I like to be able to sit down with you and kind of see what you guys do over there at Merrill Lynch. He says, okay, I'm going to have one of my guys schedule a time for you to come down and do a personal strategy for you. Right? So I went down. So it said thoughtful strategy of a fluent investor prepared for Dan Charlier. You guys see that? Okay. So then I said to Chris, I said, I want you to talk to me about your market, the people that you go after, which is your market. And in here, it talks about our client profile. You know how we say we sit down with a middle class, we can sit down with a family making $30,000 a year, all the way to families that are making $1 million a year, okay, and more. So the client profile, for you to be able to sit down in that office, corporate executive, business owners and entrepreneurs, private held family businesses, wealthy families, family offices. The average Bolenbach team relationship is $25 million. So that means that if you don't have $25 million to save and invest, you can't walk into that office. They won't even recognize you. You understand that? So a lot of times what happens when you sit down with the family, you don't really, because we're doing this complimentary for the family, you don't place any value on it. You gotta understand, no one else is gonna sit with Justin at 22 years old and do this for him. What he's gonna get is someone's gonna sell him a mutual fund, someone's gonna sell him a CD, someone's gonna close him on a home loan, on a mortgage. He's probably got some college education bills that he needs to pay, right? He doesn't have a game plan to get out of debt. No one explains to him the Rule 72, how money compounds, the difference between 4, 6, 8, 10%. No one brings. I had a lady that told me. Just the other day. She says to me, "I got to be honest with you, Dan." I was explaining to her the IUL. She said, "I got to be honest with you, Dan. It really sounds too good to be true." And I said, "I got to be honest with you. You know why it sounds too good to be true? Because you don't have any money." Because people that have money see this all the time. Do you understand that Pacific Life, their average client puts $4,000 to $5,000 a month in these policies? Why do you think they spend $80 million on advertising? Why do you think they advertise on the Golf Channel, at the Masters? Because their target market is the top 10%. We are the only company that are going to bring these investment-based products to average American families. That's our crusade. So when somebody tells you, "This sounds too good to be true," that's because you ain't got no money. That's because we're talking about $100. No one else is going to do that for you. You follow me? So your job is to create value, to help people understand that. Without our cause, they don't have a shot. So when you sit down with a family, it's not just you did 3,000 points. You did something for them that nobody else is going to do. You follow me? Whether it's an equity-based product or a securities-based product or whatever the case may be that you did for them, and you create value. And once you make this value, once you understand the value of it, what Justin's going to feel like, Justin's going to go, "Oh my God, everybody I know needs to see this." That's how I felt when they did it for me. I was thinking to myself, I remember thinking to myself, I wish, because I was 33 at the time. I remember thinking to myself, I wish when I was 20 years old and I was going in the military that someone had sat down with me and did this for me. And then when I started to study, I realized that, listen to this, in the military, the officers, right, when they graduate officer candidate school, they make just as much money as a young officer that a gunnery sergeant that's been in the military for 14 years, because their military pays a lot higher. So when they get out of officer candidate school, they automatically get financial game plans. A private, when he gets out of boot camp, you know what advice I got? My drill instructors told me take $50, put it in a government bond, and after 20 years you'll be fine. I could pay for any worse advice than that. So there was no financial education for the enlisted. So when I saw this, I was like, part of me was pissed off. I was like, God, how come nobody ever showed me this before? So what intrigued me, I was just like, oh my God, every one of my buddies need to see this because they're all doing exactly what I'm doing. That's what he's got to feel like after I talk to him. You follow me? So I don't have to pull his teeth for referrals. It's kind of like you go see a great movie and you're truly excited about the movie. You naturally tell everybody you know, oh my God, you got to see this movie. You go to a great restaurant where you really enjoy the food, you naturally tell everyone you if they know. So there's no trick to getting referrals. It's just very direct. And your conversation has to be direct but courteous, right? Every question is very direct. And if he has an objection, let's say he has an objection, come up with a couple of objections. Let's go through some objection handling.
I like it.
What's that?
I like it, but
Hold on. One at a time.
I like it, but I can't afford to get started yet.
What's that?
I like it, but I don't have the money to get started yet.
What do you think it costs to get started?
I don't know. Whatever it's going to cost me. Right now, everything is tight.
Right now, everything's tight.
Mm-hmm.
So you're living in a state where you're broke. You're living payday to payday.
Yep.
I know exactly how you feel. When and when I explain this to you, that's exactly how I felt. That's exactly how most average American families live, because everything that's coming in is going right back out. Okay. One of the things that I want to tell you is that there's four types of people that I sit down with. One person says exactly what you just said, Richard. I'm broke. I'm living payday to payday. Everything that comes in goes right back out. That family will never, ever, ever, ever reach a position where they become financially independent. Let me explain to you why. The fact that they're broke is just a symptom. The disease is they haven't learned to pay themselves first. So an average saver, the first step is that you got to learn how to save yourself, pay yourself first. That means that if I make $1,000 a month, right? 10% of 1,000 is 100. So I pay myself $100. Then I budget everything else. So with most people that never become financially independent, they pay all their bills first. Then when it comes to them, they go, I don't have any money. So what has to happen in that conversation, your mindset has to change. And if you're not in a position to change that mindset, there's really nothing that I can do to help you. Be very direct. You follow me? So if I could show you a plan where you can save 10% of your income, because we're going to list your expenses and all of that stuff, and we're going to find ways for you to save money so you can start paying yourself first. Do you have a family and kids? Okay, great. Wouldn't you like to be in a position where you have some money saved and you have an emergency account for in case of emergencies? Let me ask you a question, Richard. Do you personally have life insurance right now?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, that means that you care about your family. Do you personally have an emergency account?
No.
Okay, well, our first step is we're going to show you how to get that emergency account. If I could show you how to do that, and we could go through your expenses and we can find the money to do that where you can start saving 10%, are you willing to take that first step and start saving?
Sure.
Okay, what else?
I want to do the opportunity, but I don't have any time.
You don't have any time?
Yeah.
I used to feel the same exact way because all of this that I'm telling you, I'm not making up. That's exactly the stuff that I used to say. Right? I used to work as a firefighter in the Marine Corps. So I worked 24 on, 24 hours off, 48 hours on, 48 hours off. When I was off, I was working doing construction. So I've always been an extremely busy individual. I've never been a lazy person. So when I first got started here, I had the same challenge. I didn't have any time. And one of the things that I learned from my mentor, he says, Dan, it's not that you don't have any time. You have to learn how to prioritize your time. Because this is an opportunity. If you applied yourself here, what you make in a week, you can literally make in a day. And then once I understood that, I redirected my time, and now I live my dream. Let me ask you a question. If I could show you how to make an extra $2,000 to $3,000 on a part-time basis, what would that do for your family?
Change it.
Awesome. Will you make the time for that? If I could show you how to... Perfect. Okay, what else?
I invest my money in real estate, and I have a different way to invest my money.
You have a different way to invest your money. So if I could sit down with you and put a plan together for you. So what you're saying is you have no interest in doing a personal strategy, because real estate, that could be part of your portfolio. So we're not just going to talk about investment. We're going to take a look at your whole financial strategy. Are you open to have that conversation?
And what I'm going to get from it.
What's that?
And what is going, why do
You're going to have a complete financial game plan. Real estate is just one aspect. So we're going to look at every aspect and do a personal strategy for you for free. Are you open to that? Okay.
I don't believe in insurance. I put all my money in gold.
That's awesome. I'm glad that it works for you. Well, the personal strategy doesn't just talk about insurance. See, you guys are making a lot of statements that causes you those rejections. I don't get those rejections. I sell the strategy, the needs analysis. You're selling insurance. The product is the needs analysis. I'm not talking about insurance or investments. I'm selling the needs analysis.
So how would you do it for the person if he has a life insurance? You would actually.
Well, once I sit down with him, right, he brings everything he has. Okay, so for example, he has life insurance. Okay, what he has is good, but good compared to what? There's term, there's universal, there's whole, there's variable, there's equity index universal life, right? He could have had a policy that he bought 5, 10 years ago, and at the time it was a great policy, right? He might have term because he doesn't understand that you have cash value life insurance. Once I get everything, what he has might be good, but good compared to what?
Could be underinsured.
He could be underinsured. There's all kind of stuff. Once I get all this stuff, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, basically, the recommendation for the life insurance is to be 10 times more than income.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go into all of that stuff, yeah. What else?
Do you still want objections or questions as well?
Objections? We can talk to objections. Objection handling. Okay, go ahead.
So this is a new brochure that we have. Should we still go through like just the 3 tax brackets and 3?
No, well, this was the one-on-one.
Okay.
This was the one-on-one.
Okay.
Okay, so when I sell across the kitchen table, it's a little bit different when I sell across the kitchen table.
I got actually an objection that came in after I sign up, which is I don't really like going to my market for this, and I feel weird about going to my market.
Now, think about this. Why would they feel weird going to their market? Because they don't believe. Pay attention to what I'm talking about. Okay? When I sit down with him, the feeling that he gets, everyone needs to see this. You follow me? You follow me on this? Once he gets that, I want the business to go from here to here. You're still here. I don't feel like going to my market. I'm here. It hasn't got here. It has to get here. Once it gets here, he's telling everybody that he knows. He feels compelled. I don't even have to say nothing to him. You follow me on that? You have to speak to people's hearts, not to their heads. Whenever you're talking to your head, someone's head, that's when you get all the objections. I've never had someone tell me that. I did an appointment one time, and we closed, right? We closed. I did the whole thing just like I did with them. Close. It's like $80,000 in premium. Roll over, a couple of insurance policies, blah, 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 all this stuff. Get everything done, we're done, right? And now I'm meeting with the client. I says, did you get your referrals? And the husband goes, you know what? We wanted to talk to you. And I said, okay, what's going on? He says, well, we kind of want to wait till we actually start seeing it working and before we start referring out people and blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And then I sat back, and I had all the paperwork in front of me, and I pushed it back in the middle. And I said, can I be honest with you? And they said, and they could tell something's wrong, right? I said, can I be honest with you? They said, yeah. I said, I don't really feel comfortable moving forward. It's $80,000 in premium on the table. I don't feel comfortable moving forward. And it wasn't a takeaway. I actually didn't feel comfortable moving forward. Because I knew if they're not comfortable introducing me to people they know, I close them on the app, but they're not sold on it. Which means it's going to charge back. Sometimes people will just write the checks just to get you out the house and then call you the next day or cancel. I already knew it. This ain't my first rodeo. So I put it back on the table. I says, you know what, you guys, I got to be honest with you. I just don't feel comfortable moving forward with this. They go, oh, what do you mean, Dad? I says, you guys, I've been doing this for a while. I've never, ever, ever had someone tell me that. Usually when I sit down with someone, they're so generally excited about what we put together for their family that they'll pick up their cell phone. They just want to introduce me to everyone they know. And you guys don't have that feeling right now. So there's something that you don't understand about what we just did that you're not telling me. And I'm going to sit here till you guys tell me, oh, we're not going to do this. The wife says, Dan, it's not that serious. We just didn't put it together yet, and we just didn't know how to tell you. I says, well, till you put it together, I'm not leaving. So they went, they boom, 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 brought, they gave me referrals right then and there. Boom. Demanded. My time is not free. I'm going to do all this work for you, complimentary for free. You're going to introduce me to some people, but I'm going to provide a tremendous amount of value. That's why it's important when I sit down with Justin, it's not me telling him, it's me finding out what's important to him. That's why you listen and ask questions. I don't make statements. So once he tells me what he's looking for, right, he says, look, I'm interested in the client. I'm listening. You follow me? Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. Then he might turn around and say, you know what? I want to think about the opportunity. Now let's talk about that. You follow me? But a lot of times you're not listening because you already have your own agenda. Oh my God, Justin, no, you didn't get it. The opportunity, this is the best. I saw this guy, he's 29 years old, he's making $1 million a year. You got to join. I'm not listening. You follow me? You spoon feed him. A good friend of mine, that's a really big pastor. I remember asking him, I said, how did you grow your church to 10,000 people coming out a week? And he says, because I taught everybody in my church one thing. Get them to church, baptize them later. Don't try to baptize them before you get them to church. You follow me? So a lot of times you just say too much and you throw up on people. You give your information premature. You follow me on that? Meet him. All recruiting is and all selling is identify what is he trying to achieve. Let me show him how to get what he wants. All recruiting is identifying what the need is. Like I just did an appointment for Iris, for Shlomo, right? Came down to BPM. Guy's excited about it. He's like, Dan, I want to do it. Blah, 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 all this stuff. But he says, before I do it, my wife is an attorney. I want my wife to sit down. I want you to sit down with both me and my wife because my wife's more critical. I'm excited about the opportunity and I want to do it, but I want my wife to see what I did. Right? Now, I still could close him on can't you make a decision without your wife? Blah, blah. I'm good enough where I can close him. Right? And I know all the techniques. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you went to the store? Oh, I went to the store yesterday. What did you buy? Oh, I bought a loaf of bread. Did you have to call your wife? I could go through the whole deal. I already know how to do that. Right? But I said, you know what? That sounds great. Let's schedule an appointment to sit down with you and your wife. That'd be perfect. Actually, my wife's in business with me. Both my wife and I will sit down with both you and your wife. And majority of the people that we do business with, we have a lot of couples that do business together. So that'd be awesome. So I booked the appointment right then and there. Versus me forcing it to happen. You follow me? You follow me on that? There's something powerful when you take a neutral position. When you take a neutral position, right, you become more attractive when you take a neutral position. Like, I did an appointment with Batshava today with a CPA firm, right? And the guy, the CPA, was very hesitant on doing the business, right? But this lady in his office was just like, you got to do it, you got to do it. She booked the appointment. So when I got there, the first 15 minutes, I was like, well, why would you do something like this? And he was like, well, the reason I would like to do something like the first 15 minutes, he had to sell me on why he should do it. I tried to talk him out of it. Didn't I? Because even Batshava almost, you tell him, the first 15 minutes, even you were thinking.
You tell me why I should work with you and why you want to do that.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, trust Dan. Trust Dan.
Right? So he ended up selling me on why he would do it. Why? Why? Remember this, you guys, right? Put value on your time. Knowing how to not waste your time is important. Because if he doesn't want help, I can't help him. If he's not looking for an opportunity, I can't help him. The fastest I can find it. Why? Because I don't want to waste my time. Because he's not hungry, he might know someone that he wants to introduce me. I want to find out as fast as possible. Why? Because I'm really looking for people that are looking for me. And the fundamental of a dog does not chase a parked car. If I'm too available, I throw up on him, I'm no longer attracted. A dog chases a moving car. It pisses on a parked car. You understand that? And ain't nobody pissing on me. You follow me? So the more you try to, you're too desperate. Too desperate. So people think that they got the upper hand.
Yeah, that's very true.
You follow me? I sat down with a real estate broker today, recruited him for Quasi.
Yes. Please go down.
You have a guess. Okay, did you guys get something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. Justin, make sure you see Evelyn before you leave, and then she'll set up everything for your financial needs analysis, okay?
Appreciate you spending your time.
Oh, no sweat, man. No sweat. You got a one-on-one, man. So now what you guys got to do is you got to get this, and you have to go apply it. It's good, isn't it?
It's better than I was doing all this. That's amazing, actually. But you know what? I looked at it and I didn't understand it at first.
I went over it.
I went over it and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do with this.
I think I have another one, so take this one.
Can we? Can